All right, good morning, good afternoon, hello. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but thanks so much for joining us today. Um, I am Josh McIntosh. I'm one of the academic advisors here in LSJ for those of you who I haven't had the chance to meet. But today we're just going to do a bit of a video breakdown of the LSJ Honors program, just from sort of top to bottom. So a bit of an overview. Today we'll just be exploring some of the following. We'll be diving into what departmental honors and LSJ entails. We'll be going through the application process and components. We'll be exploring some tips and guidelines on how to get started on your application. And then, if we were in person, I'd be able to offer the ability for you to answer to you to ask questions. If you would have any questions after this, we would be more than happy to answer them. So please feel free to reach out to me or any of the other advisors here in LSJ. So what is departmental honors here in LSJ? So departmental honors in LSJ really offers academically strong and intrinsically motivated students an opportunity to really delve deeper into a particular topic or area of interest in law, societies, and justice. Students will conduct original research driven by their question, and this means that you will be analyzing and often collecting data to answer this specific research question. You'll also be creating a strong sample for postgraduate endeavors, strong writing example for postgraduate endeavors, as well as cultivating a network of faculty and departmental staff who are really working with you as a team. If you're looking for an opportunity to work closely with another faculty member, but not necessarily interested in conducting research, there are lots of other opportunities that may be a better fit for you. And then I also will mention that it's a 2-quarter commitment with an additional departmental seminar. Some of the eligibility requirements, just on a GPA basis, in order to be eligible to apply for departmental honors and to remain in the program or in the departmental honors track, students must have a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or higher and an LSJ GPA of 3.75 or higher. And an LSJ GPA just means the average GPA among all of your LSJ courses. And as I mentioned before, this is an option that's designed primarily for students who are deeply engaged, either before they enter LSJ or once they enter LSJ in a particular topic and have that strong self-motivated desire to conduct original research. I do want to highlight some new eligibility requirements for incoming and future cohorts of LSJ Honors. So it'll be applicable for this upcoming application session for the cohort of 2022 to 23. So before applying, you must attend a required workshop that's offered at the end of winter quarter by Professor Beckett. Students are strongly encouraged to share their research proposal in a drop-in advising appointment with the undergraduate research program. I would also highly encourage students to check out the Office of Undergraduate Research website to check out. They have tons of different resources for students pursuing academic research, just research on how to get started, how to sort of, create sort of resiliency and habits to maintain consistent, research habits throughout your 2-quarter sequence. And they also just have lots of different resources for, how to research here, both on campus as well as conduct research and collect data. You're also required now to discuss your draft proposal with at least one faculty member who you will be listing as a potential advisor. And this must be done at least 1 week before your application. This is a very important one. We don't want to sort of just have a bunch of students wait until that last minute. We will not be seeing students within that last week before the application is due. All right, the application. Now we're going to sort of delve a bit deeper into the logistics of the honors application. The first step is to attend a workshop, obviously offered by faculty in the winter before you apply. This is, like I said, required, and it's a new requirement, and it will help you sort of understand what it means to craft a research question, analyze data, and analyze data to answer it, as well as just have a firmer understanding of what the honors process here in LSJ entails. We also highly recommend anyone considering honors to meet with an academic advisor before applying. On the application form, you will need to identify at least 2 potential faculty members as your potential advisors for your honors project. After you attend that workshop in winter quarter, you will need to discuss your draft proposal with at least one of these potential advisors before submitting your application. You are encouraged to explore potential research topics with Emily Keller, who is the public policy and political science librarian here at UW. She's a really fantastic resource, and we coordinate a lot with her. So she's very familiar with the research that LSJ students are conducting for their honors projects. And then applications are due the Wednesday of the third week of spring quarter, rather. And then you will be notified of the committee's decisions by the middle of spring quarter. We don't have a very specific date, but sometime by the middle of spring quarter. And then I do want to sort of break down this honors timeline. We are just going to, let me share my screen. So we'll do a new share. So I do just want to highlight this. We just recently updated our timeline that we have here on our website. So here you can see in that winter and spring quarter, you will be attending that required informational or sort of required pre-honors session. And you'll also be consulting with the undergraduate research program during that time, LSJ advisors, and sort of creating your conducting your preliminary research and draft proposal. And then fall quarter, you're going to, after you've been accepted into the program, you will be participating in honors preparatory workshops, refining your research plan, meeting with a faculty mentor, and then you'll also be identifying a second reader. Your winter quarter is when you're going to be sort of hunkering down and doing the majority of that work, right? You're going to be collecting data, you're going to be analyzing, and you're going to be drafting your thesis during this time. You'll also be, of course, you'll be, compiling a list of sources and, curating a bibliography during this time, but you'll be required to complete it during winter quarter. You'll be submitting that draft to your mentor by the 7th week, and then submitting a revision by the 9th week to both the mentor and your second reader. And then, even though you're an undergraduate, you will be, defending your thesis in your final week. And then we really encourage students to have, especially as we come back on campus and undergraduate research, the undergraduate research symposium has a, more normal, quote unquote, normal format. We really encourage students to present at the undergraduate research symposium in the spring. So I just did want to highlight that sort of relatively new structure that we have to our timeline. And then let's go back to our PowerPoint. All right. So those were some of just the application logistics. And now I want to break down some of the application components themselves. All right, so student information. This is just your really basic name, ID, major, minor, really just the basic demographic information that you're providing often here at UW. The bulk of your application is going to be this research proposal, which I'll delve a little bit deeper into in the next couple slides. And then in this proposal, you will be, outlining your research question and plan, as well as indicating your list of potential faculty advisors. And then you'll also be submitting your UW transcripts. You must submit your unofficial transcripts to ensure that you do meet those GPA requirements that we went over in the eligibility criteria section. And then you'll also be selecting a writing sample from another course that is separate from your research proposal. just please select any appropriate writing sample from another course that you feel best reflects or best demonstrates your writing ability. All right, so the research proposal. So as a whole, this is sort of the majority of your application, right? You're going to be uh, using this to identify your research question, your research rationale, which is essentially how you became interested in this and why it's important. So you're going to be really contextualizing this research in in a much grander scheme of why this is important and why you doing this research, one, how it came about, and two, why it's important in this critical context. That connection to LSJ is sort of really attached to that rationale, very much explaining how your research relates to the particular issues or courses explored in LSJ in our curriculum. And then you'll also be explaining, of course, you don't need to have a very fleshed out research plan at this time, but you need to explain what kinds of evidence or data you do plan to collect, or how you will collect it. And you'll also need to break down how you plan to analyze this and answer your question in the long run. As we've said before, you also need to, in this research proposal, identify faculty members. So at this point, you'll also identify those faculty members, and then sort of we provide that opportunity for you to sort of explain why those are the particular faculty members that you think would best be served by supporting your research, by supervising, and by reading it at the end after you create your thesis. Some of the committee considerations in your application, be sure that you explain that you want to conduct original research, right? Your thesis proposal really should also clearly identify your research question you wish to explore, explain how you, of course you don't have to have it fleshed out, but how you do tentatively plan to answer that question and that data collection analysis piece that we just touched on in the previous slide. A research question not only addresses a topic or a specific issue you'd like to learn about, it should also be one that you can use to, use data or evidence to answer over the course of your 2 quarters in conducting honors research. It should also be able to explain how you became interested in this topic, why it's important for scholars interested in law, societies, and justice to be focused on this research. And, these are also just some of the general questions that the committee will be asking themselves in the review process. All right, how to get started on this application. So developing that research question, that's kind of the crux, as you can find out from this presentation, that's kind of the crux of your application, right? Everything sort of comes from that research question. Reflection is a really big piece of that. You need to do some personal reflection to determine, that particular topic or area of interest in you that you want to focus on. I also encourage you to do reflection if honors truly is the right path for you, right? Like we said, there are additional areas that you can work with faculty if you're interested in cultivating faculty relationships, but not necessarily interested in conducting original research. Like I said, we really encourage students who are very self-motivated and driven by a particular topic to do this. You are very encouraged during this reflection period to speak with your peers, your instructors, advisors, faculty that you have relationships with to help sort of distill your passion. There are some really great video resources that I've linked to here on the LSJ website that sort of break down how researchers have developed research questions throughout the process, their different processes and their investigations. As I've mentioned before, Emily Keller in UW Library is the political science and public policy librarian, is a really fantastic resource and does a lot of work with our LSJ Honors students in their research processes as is. So she is a very good resource who's familiar with the work that students do. As well as I do want to highlight the Odegaard Center for writing and research. They also do offer a lot of great one-on-one appointments for students to sort of bounce ideas off of. If you have your proposal or some sort of draft question or proposal, I would really encourage you to reach out to them, sort of meet with them and have a conversation on how you can improve. Just get some feedback from them. They're really great undergraduate students that provide undergraduate and graduate students that do provide some great sort of peer-to-peer support. And then I also do want to highlight that we on our website do host all of the different past honors theses that students have done in our program. So again, linked here, I really encourage you to just peruse through, read a couple, look at some of the topics that students have done, examine how they've conducted their research. I think it's going to be very helpful in you developing your research proposal for your application. Identifying the faculty advisor. Here I've linked the LSJ faculty profiles that we have on our website. Each of these has a bio, a short bio on each, as well as provides information on research publications, has CVs, has relevant topic tags, and lists a lot of individual interests and prior research work. So you can very much, identify parallel interests between you and current faculty members. Obviously, on those CVs are going to sort of reflect a lot of the same things that you see in the bios, but they'll provide a lot more structured and cited examples of either research or published work that they have done, as well as different sort of opportunities that they've had in the past to conduct research. So if you are unsure, I definitely encourage you to schedule a meeting with a potential faculty advisor. I can't guarantee that they'll get back to you. Faculty are very busy, but LSJ faculty are very engaged with our students. And so I very much encourage you to reach out if you are interested in working with a particular faculty member to see if your work and communication styles align, see if your other, topic or area of interest align as well. Awesome. Well, that is sort of all I have for you today. Again, if you were in person, I would love to answer any questions that you all have. But otherwise, I will let you all go. And thanks so much for watching. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to LSJ Advising. We'd be more than happy to connect with you.